Hello and welcome back to the Better Unspoken podcast. Man, oh man, the debate last night. If you hadn't had a chance to check out the debate, please go and watch the full debate in its entirety. I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on. If you're honest, you'll admit that that debate was so lopsided. And I don't mean in terms of who won. I just mean in terms of how it was moderated, how it was set up, how the questions were set up. Wow. It was very clear who was favored. Really in the first maybe 15, 20 minutes of the debate. But there was one point that I wanted to highlight on tonight that I had to do a little digging on because it was a claim that was made and it was reiterated a lot throughout the debate. Um, and basically, what it was Trump was one of the things that former President Trump was saying about Vice President Kamala Harris was that she wanted to take guns. And so, at one point in the debate, Kamala decided to address him on it. And I want y'all to take a listen to what she said here. Y'all check this out.
Harris, in 2017, you supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private insurance and create a government-run healthcare system. 2 years later, you proposed a plan that included a private insurance option. What is your plan today?
Well, first of all, I absolutely support, and over the last 4 years as vice president, private health care options. But what we need to do is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
That gave her the soundbite that she wanted, right? And I thought I'd look into that a little bit because that kind of struck a chord, and she did, she got a little bravado on her chest and everything, and she said it with such fervor and everything. No fact checking was done. Nobody stopped her. Nobody said, well, actually. So I thought I'd kind of dig a little bit and see exactly, why Trump would say that, because that's a pretty bold claim to make, to say that somebody wants to take your guns, So I had to do a little digging, and this is what I found, y'all. This is going to blow your mind here. Check this out. NRA. We know what NRA is. And then we have the Institute for Legislative Action. Check this out. In 2008, the U.S. Supreme Court decided the case of District of Columbia versus Heller. The case concerned a challenge to Washington, D.C.'s total ban on handgun ownership. In overruling the ban, the court made clear that the Second Amendment protects an individual right to keep and bear arms for lawful purposes, including self-defense. The individual right to keep and bear arms protected by the Second Amendment was later affirmed by the Supreme Court in McDonald versus Chicago in 2010, which made clear that state and local governments may not infringe upon the right. The Supreme Court again affirmed the individual's Second Amendment right in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, 2022, not that long ago, which made clear the right to carry a firearm for self-defense extends outside the home. Okay, so here's the claim. If it was up to Harris, Americans would not enjoy an individual right to keep and bear arms. In 2008, Harris was the DA of San Francisco. In this capacity, Harris endorsed what's called an amicus curiae brief of district attorneys in support of the District of Columbia and its handgun ban in the Heller case. All right, for those who don't know what an amicus curiae is, basically that's If I'm not mistaken, that's Latin for friend of the court. Basically, what that is it's an entity that basically counsels or weighs in and lends an opinion to a court case, right? When a court is weighing options and weighing and deliberating, and a friend of the court can say, hey, we have an opinion on this based on our jurisdiction, based on our area of expertise, based on our expert opinion, that sort of thing. And so they can lend themselves and lend their knowledge and their opinion to whatever the case is. But it's up to the court to decide whether or not they actually want to take that opinion into consideration. And so basically what you have, reading here, it says, advocating against the individual right to keep and bear arms, the brief argued, courts have consistently sustained criminal firearms laws against Second Amendment challenges by holding that inter alia. The Second Amendment provides only a militia-related right to bear arms. 2. The Second Amendment does not apply to legislation passed by state or local governments. According to the document, the Second Amendment does not protect an individual right, but rather the lower court in Heller created this right, the brief stated. The lower court's decision, however, creates a broad private right to possess any firearm that is a, quote, lineal descendant of a founding era weapon, and that is in, quote, common use with a, quote, military application today. Okay. So basically what this is saying here is, if you read the Constitution, right, and I probably should see if I can pull up a copy of the Second Amendment here and see. I want you guys to see what they're referring to. I want to be able to see the exact language of the Second Amendment. Let's see, where is it? And it would give me everything except that. Bear with me just a minute here. I apologize for not being more prepared. Okay. All right, here we go. Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the language of the Second Amendment. Okay? So keep that as the backdrop. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Again, keep that language in mind now. All right, now let's go back and see if we can get clarity on what's being said here. Now, this is the amicus curiae, right? See it? Amicus curiae, brief. Supreme Court of the United States. And it's pertaining to this case, District of Columbia versus Dick Anthony Heller. Ooh, what's that name right there? Okay. So we have documented. We have her name. We see that she indeed endorsed this. Okay. This document. Now let's look at what the document is saying here. This is the summary of the argument. The DAs respectfully submit that the 3 DC Code provisions at issue in this appeal do not violate the Second Amendment. So basically what this is saying is that they're looking for a reversal of the Supreme Court decision concerning this case. Okay? Basically what this case has said is that it was decided by the Supreme Court that the Second Amendment holds that individuals can carry firearms, right? And what this argument is saying is that no, the Second Amendment does not say that individuals can bear arms. Basically, what the argument is that the Second Amendment, you see it right here, the Second Amendment provides only, let me move this up so you guys can see it here, says that the Second Amendment provides only a militia-related right to bear arms. Y'all see that, right? Not an individual right to bear arms. Remember the language of the Second Amendment said a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, right? So basically what this is saying is that Kamala's opinion, right, along with the other DAs that signed this petition, right, said that no, the Second Amendment does not protect the individual's right to bear arms. She signed this, right? She endorsed this. Well, not signed it, but she endorsed this. This has her on it. That's her name. Again, just in case y'all missed it, that's her name. That's her. You follow me? This was something that she agreed to and that she endorsed it. Right? And then it goes on to give additional, let me go to let me move me out of the way so you guys can really see. Here's the argument. And again, you see that the DAs do not focus on the reasons for the reversal, however, leaving these arguments to petitioners and other amici. Instead, the DAs urge the court to consider the potential negative and unintended and wholly unnecessary consequences of an affirming opinion. In short, an affirmance could inadvertently call into question the well-settled Second Amendment principles under which countless state and local criminal firearms laws have been upheld by courts nationwide. So basically they're saying that there have been other cases nationwide that have supported the idea that no, the individual does not have rights to bear arms. The Second Amendment does not give individuals the right to bear arms. Okay. And then it goes on to say that the Second Amendment does not apply to legislation passed by state or local governments, meaning that the state, just like states can say, one state can say, well, you require a permit. Some states require permits for you to be able to carry a gun, while other states don't. You got some states that say, you have to have a permit in order to carry concealed, while other states say you don't. So the idea of states being able to govern themselves as it relates to firearms, that's what's at question here, right? That's what they're talking about. They're saying that the Second Amendment has nothing to do with legislation that states or local governments pass pertaining to gun rights. Because the argument can be made, and on the local level, the argument can be made that a violation of the Second Amendment would be if your church didn't let you bring a gun into the sanctuary, or the right of teachers to be able to bring guns into the school to protect themselves, or the rights of college kids to be able to bring a gun on campus to protect themselves, that sort of thing. Local governments can then make decisions or can pass laws saying, hey, you can only have your gun in public places. You can't take your gun into a private establishment. Or they may pass laws that say, or pass an ordinance or something that says that it's up to the individual sovereignty of their property. If I say, that nobody can bring a gun into my house but me, you know what I'm saying? That there could be a local ordinance that establishes that to be the case. Or if I own a restaurant, I can say no guns allowed at the restaurant. I have the right to say that, and there could be local laws and local ordinances passed to affirm that for me. Would that be a violation of the Second Amendment if I'm able to restrict somebody else's ability to bear arms in my establishment? So these are the type of things that are called into question in this brief. And this was something that at the time DA Kamala Harris endorsed. So again, this is the rationale. I want y'all to understand that this is the rationale behind the brief that she was a part of orchestrating and endorsing, right? So this is what he's talking about when he says that she wants to take your guns. Yeah, she's saying that she has, that her and Tim Walz have guns. But look at this document right here. That's where she's challenging the Supreme Court on the ability for concerning individuals being able to bear arms. So that was a completely dishonest statement that she made. And I just wanted to highlight that because clearly we have a document here that's showing her. Right? The lower court's decision, however, creates a broad private right to possess any firearm that is a lineal descendant of a founding era weapon and that is in common use with a military application today. Now, let's talk about that. You don't have to think hard. You really don't have to think too hard. We all know people who love their guns, right? And when I say love their guns, love talking about guns, I have friends who love talking about guns, who love showing off their guns. You get into a conversation with them about their gun, they finna go out to the car and go get their gun. They keep in big long bags and they'll pop the trunk on you and they don't mind showing you their guns. But these are people who I can pretty much say with about a 99.96% statistically significant accuracy that they'll be voting for Kamala Harris. But I don't think they know that she actually wanted to take guns. She wanted to eliminate the individual ability to bear arms. She felt like she actually felt like, and it's documented, that she felt like the right to bear arms is exclusively for militia. And that to take guns away from individuals is not unconstitutional. What can you say? Just wanted to show y'all that. Until next time, be easy.